The promotion I'd prayed for finally came. But my boss leaned closer and whispered something that made my blood run cold. In that moment, I realized success had a price I never agreed to pay.
Someone is watching this video right now, living this exact nightmare. Subscribe so these stories keep reaching the people who need them most. Sarah had always believed hard work was the cleanest path to success. She joined the prestigious consulting firm with a resume built on sleepless nights and stubborn ambition. The glass building downtown felt like a monument to everything she wanted to become. Every morning, she walked in with quiet pride and nervous excitement. This job was not just employment, it was her escape from mediocrity. She promised herself she would never waste the opportunity. At that point, nightmares were things that happened to other people. From the start, Sarah stood out among her peers. Her reports were sharp, her presentations confident, and her dedication impossible to ignore. Colleagues praised her discipline, and supervisors noted her consistency. She felt seen in a way she never had before. Each small compliment fueled her belief that she belonged there. Success finally felt close enough to touch. She had no idea that attention can be a double-edged sword. The higher she climbed, the more eyes followed her. Mr. Thompson was the firm's golden figure. He was charismatic, powerful, and known for transforming junior employees into industry stars. When he first congratulated Sarah on her performance, she felt honored. His office was a place people dreamed of being invited into. He spoke about growth, leadership, and potential with convincing ease. Sarah listened carefully, absorbing every word. She saw him as a mentor, nothing more. Trust came naturally in a place built on hierarchy. At first, their interactions felt normal and professional. Meetings were focused, feedback was constructive, and encouragement was frequent. Mr. Thompson often praised her work ethic in front of others. Sarah felt proud when colleagues noticed his approval. She interpreted his attention as recognition she had earned. There was nothing obviously wrong at the beginning. If anything, it seemed like opportunity knocking. She answered the door without suspicion. Over time, subtle changes began to surface. Compliments shifted from professional achievements to personal observations. His gaze lingered a second to long-during conversations. He started commenting on her appearance under the guise of confidence building. Sarah laughed nervously, unsure how to respond. She told herself she was imagining things. After all, this was a competitive environment, not a drama. Doubt quietly crept into her certainty. Private meetings became more frequent than necessary. Mr. Thompson insisted they were essential for her growth. He framed exclusivity as trust and investment in her future. Sarah noticed others were no longer invited to certain discussions. Isolation arrived disguised as privilege. She felt uneasy, but also flattered. Rejecting access felt like rejecting success itself. That contradiction weighed heavily on her mind. The office atmosphere began to change for Sarah. Casual conversations with co-workers felt strained and distant. Some colleagues seemed uncomfortable around her without explanation. She sensed whispers, but never caught words. Mr. Thompson remained her strongest supporter, at least on the surface. He reminded her how competitive the firm was. He emphasized how easily careers could stall. Fear quietly joined ambition at her desk. Sarah started questioning her instincts. She wondered if discomfort was simply the cost of climbing higher. Stories she had heard about corporate life echoed in her thoughts. Maybe powerful environments required thicker skin. She told herself not to be naive. Doubt turned inward, blaming her sensitivity instead of the situation. She stayed silent and focused on performance. Silence felt safer than confrontation. The promotion conversation came unexpectedly. Mr. Thompson called her into his office late one evening. He praised her dedication and described a leadership role with enthusiasm. Sarah's heart raced as he outlined the benefits and recognition. This was the breakthrough she had been chasing. Her mind filled with visions of security and respect. She smiled, barely containing her excitement. Then the tone in the room shifted. His voice lowered, and his posture changed. The professional distance dissolved into something unsettling. He spoke about loyalty and trust in ambiguous terms. His words carried implications that made her chest tighten. Sarah felt the air grow heavy between them. This was no longer about performance. The promotion now came with an unspoken condition. Reality crashed into her excitement without warning. When he finally made his demand clear, time seemed to freeze. It was not phrased as a request, but as an expectation. He spoke calmly, as though discussing a standard transaction. Sarah felt disbelief rush through her veins. This could not be happening to her. Her silence filled the room louder than any scream. In that moment, her dream job transformed into a trap. Fear and anger battled inside her. She thought about the years of effort it took to reach this point. Walking away felt like erasing her entire journey. Staying felt like betraying herself. Mr. Thompson watched her closely, reading her hesitation. He reminded her how fragile opportunities could be. The power imbalance was undeniable. Sarah realized how alone she truly was. That night, sleep refused to come. Her thoughts replayed the conversation on a cruel loop. Shame crept in, uninvited and undeserved. She questioned whether she had somehow caused this. The weight of silence pressed against her chest. She felt trapped between survival and self-respect. Tears came without warning. Morning arrived with no answers. At work, everything looked the same, yet nothing felt normal. Mr. Thompson behaved as if nothing had happened. His calm demeanor made her feel small and powerless. Every email from him made her stomach twist. She avoided eye contact, afraid of what it might imply. The office buzzed with routine indifference. Her inner world, however, was crumbling. Sarah considered reporting the incident. The idea filled her with both hope and terror. She had heard stories of retaliation and disbelief. The firm's policies seemed strong on paper, but vague in practice. Mr. Thompson's influence loomed over every department. Evidence felt impossible to gather. Her word against his felt like a losing battle. Doubt kept her frozen. Eventually, the pressure became unbearable. Sarah reached out to a trusted friend outside the company. Saying the words out loud made them painfully real. Relief and fear tangled in her chest. Her friend listened without judgment and validated her feelings. For the first time, Sarah felt seen again. Yet the fear of consequences still lingered. Courage does not erase fear. It moves beside it. Encouraged, but still uncertain, Sarah began documenting everything. She saved emails, noted dates, and recorded changes in behavior. Each action felt both empowering and terrifying. She became hyper-aware of her surroundings. Trust no longer came easily. The workplace felt hostile despite its polished surface. Survival became her new focus. She was no longer just an employee. She was a witness. Mr. Thompson sensed the shift in her behavior. His friendliness cooled, replaced by professional distance. Projects she once led were reassigned without explanation. Praise turned into silence. The promotion conversation vanished as if it never existed. The message was clear without being spoken. Power had many ways of enforcing obedience. Sarah felt punished for not complying. The emotional toll began to show. Anxiety followed her home every night. She lost appetite, focus, and confidence. Work that once energized her now drained her completely. Friends noticed the change and expressed concern. She felt guilty for burdening them with her pain. Smiling became an exhausting performance. The cost of silence was becoming unbearable. After weeks of turmoil, Sarah requested a meeting with HR. Her hands shook as she spoke her truth. The response was polite, but cautious. Questions felt more like challenges than support. She was warned about the seriousness of her claims. The phrase she said hung heavily in the air. Hope flickered, but remained fragile. The system felt colder than she expected. Rumors began circulating soon after. Co-workers avoided her. Unsure of where loyalty lay, Sarah felt exposed and vulnerable. Confidentiality proved to be more myth than reality. Mr. Thompson continued working as usual. His reputation shielded him effectively. The imbalance deepened her frustration. Justice felt distant and abstract. Despite everything, Sarah refused to disappear. She continued performing her duties with quiet determination. Each completed task felt like resistance. She reminded herself why she started. Integrity became her anchor in the chaos. Even when doubted, she held on to her truth. Strength took a different form than she imagined. Survival itself became an act of courage. The investigation moved slowly, dragging uncertainty behind it. Days turned into weeks with little communication. Sarah felt suspended in limbo. Every notification triggered anxiety. She questioned whether speaking up had been a mistake. Yet deep down, she knew silence would have destroyed her. The cost of truth was high, but necessary. She stood firm despite exhaustion. Outside of work, Sarah began reclaiming parts of herself. Therapy offered a safe space to unpack the trauma. She learned that abuse of power thrives on isolation. Naming the experience helped reduce its grip. Healing did not come quickly or neatly. Some days felt heavier than others. Progress appeared in small, quiet moments. She learned patience with herself. Eventually, HR concluded their process with ambiguous results. No public consequences were announced. Sarah felt disappointed, but not surprised. The system protected itself efficiently. She was offered a transfer instead of accountability. It felt like both an escape and an exile. Staying meant constant reminders of the ordeal. Leaving meant starting over. Choice returned, but with scars. Sarah chose to leave the firm. The decision came with grief and relief intertwined. Walking away from her dream job hurt deeply. Yet reclaiming control over her life mattered more. She refused to let the experience define her worth. Her career was not over, just redirected. Strength came from choosing herself. The future, though uncertain, felt lighter. In her new role elsewhere, Sarah rebuilt slowly. Trust took time to restore. She set boundaries with clarity and confidence. The lessons she learned shaped her leadership style. She became vigilant without becoming bitter. Her voice, once silenced, grew steadier. Pain transformed into purpose. She carried her story with resilience. Sarah began mentoring younger professionals quietly. She shared wisdom without exposing wounds unnecessarily. Red flags became part of her guidance. She emphasized documentation, intuition, and support networks. Empowerment replaced fear in her conversations. Her experience became a shield for others. Speaking up took many forms. Healing expanded beyond herself. Looking back, Sarah recognized how close she came to losing herself. Ambition had nearly cost her integrity. She understood now that success without dignity is hollow. Power should never demand silence in exchange for opportunity. Her story was painful, but it was hers. Survival became transformation. Courage rewrote her narrative. Sarah's journey was not about downfall, but awakening. She learned that no promotion is worth surrendering oneself. Her experience stood as a warning and a testament. Workplaces must be challenged, not feared. Silence protects abusers, not victims. Her voice mattered, even when the system resisted. Integrity became her true promotion, and her story was only just beginning.